To be purist to your intentions, let's change that to ka-ching. The only pretense I can see this movie being made under is for merchandising. Obviously, you know, cars, toy cars, they have a big place in the market. Obviously, attached with Pixar and Disney's name will sell even better because the movie, I mean, it only sold, as far as in theaters, it sold, you know, as much as the average Pixar movie did. And it was the worst reviewed, still very good reviews, but the weakest of the Pixar movie, kind of unanimously agree that it was the weakest Pixar movie. So really, you know, you got no excuses. You made this movie for money, and if it was good, okay, fine, then we would have taken it, but, no. Visually, how is it that John Lasseter came across directing these movies? As they are the weakest Pixar movies. He's the guy who started this. He's the guy who started, you know, Toy Story 2. He didn't direct Toy Story 3. But he's usually the genius behind Pixar. He's usually, like, the front runner for originality. And he's the one who sold his soul to the money-grubbing people at Disney. The first Cars was the most cliche of the Pixar bunch. It had the most shameless humor, the cheapest jokes, the weakest story, and was the most flashy. And for all those reasons, obviously, people agreed that it was the weakest Pixar movie, but it was still a good movie. I still like it. I still think it's a decent flick. But here, all those problems are not only exemplified, the characters are obnoxious. The movie just fumbles apart. The story is so obvious, so contrived, so pulled together that it doesn't work. It's not interesting. You know, I did like the characters in the first movie, and here they brought back an even better voice cast. It was absolutely awesome list of people, but they're not really given anything to work with here. It's Mater-centric, but he's not that. Larry the Cable Guy, he's really not that funny. At least I don't find him funny. But his character, it's the same joke over and over again. Yes, we get it. He's like a helpless, you know, lovable moron. But you gotta come up with something new, especially for a sequel. As I said, it has an amazing voice cast. I mean, you have Owen Wilson, Emily Mortimer, Michael Caine, Eddie Izzard, Bonnie Hunt. And the visual effects are absolutely amazing. They are stunning like any other Pixar movie. You know, all of it just looks beautiful, going all over these all different sceneries. You know, there are some good action sequences, but there's nothing holding it together. This movie, it is so poorly put together. The Toy Story short was way more entertaining than the entire movie of Cars 2. And there was no emotional pull in this movie like all the other Pixar movies. There was nothing, I didn't feel anything. Like in the first Cars, there was kind of that, you know, where they did those montages of how things were so great, and then they got really bad, and it had that nostalgic feel to it. You know, they worked that really well, even if it was just that one sequence, because they do montages very well. There really wasn't anything in this movie, because it's all flair. I didn't feel that. I mean, now that's almost how I feel about, you know, what's happening to Pixar because of Disney is like what happened to, you know, that little small town in the first Cars. I've been going like in and out of a rant, but it's not that much so I'm angry. I'm just so disappointed because Pixar had a perfect record. I mean, yes, Cars, the original, wasn't that great, but it's still a good movie, and now that's gone, you know, never to be back again. Hopefully they can get back on track. They're not really going to alienate too many people here, but come on, guys, you gotta get away from these sequels, or at least do them for the right reasons. I felt like I was watching a close to 2-hour advertisement for car toys with some really cool people making voice cameos. It's not a bad movie. It's still not a really terrible movie. As I said, the visual effects are awesome, the voice cast is great. There are some funny moments, and it's just that there's nothing under the hood here. There's no Pixar touch. It's hollow, it's flair. You know, there's not that stroke of genius that we've been seeing for over 10 years now. I hope it comes back. I know it can come back. I'm excited for Brave. I'm excited for Monsters University. I'm excited for the new date they set. So I'm gonna stick with Pixar because they're one of my favorite movie-making companies. They've directed some of my favorite movies of all time. This is still well-directed, but I felt like I was watching a DreamWorks movie too, and I mean, even like the shit end of the barrel of a DreamWorks movie, because they've been directing some great movies lately. How to Train a Dragon, Kung Fu Panda 2. Pixar, you guys gotta get back on track. You got them last year, but this year, they are taking you down. To be honest, this really didn't feel like a Pixar movie, and it's sad saying that because I look forward to Pixar movies every year. It's always like, when's the new Pixar movie coming out? Can't wait. Well, next year, so. Peace out, guys. Hope you like my review. I'm sorry to bring you this sad news that I love every Pixar movie. I had a streak going since the last Cars came out. Ratatouille, 10 out of 10. WALL-E, 10 out of 10. Up, 10 out of 10. Toy Story 3, 10 out of 10. And now, Broken by a 5.5 out of 10. Come on, Disney. At least you could have taken Pixar out to a nice restaurant before you did this. You know, because they like to be wined and dined before they get fucked.